It seems like somebody just doesn't want to let go. Mercedes lost the 2021 Drivers' Championship fight on a very controversial matter, and after they threatened to take the outcome of the race to the High Court, the initial impression was that the Brackley-based team just decided to let it go and have another shot in the future. However, they have been digging up some interesting information when it comes to the 2021 season recently, and some of it will leave your jaw hanging. Mercedes accused Red Bull of something that would be considered a major offense to the sport, and Verstappen has fired back at these allegations in a very fierce matter. Before we go deep into this drama-llama situation between Mercedes and Red Bull, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and turn on the notifications. That way, you'll be constantly updated on our content, and you'll be able to learn more about the F1 world. Let's say a few words about the budget cap, since that is the main reason why Mercedes and Red Bull are fighting yet again, although it has been almost a year since the final race in Abu Dhabi. The budget cap was invented in 2021, and the limit that one team could spend was $140 million. As you already know, the budget cap was the main weapon that the FIA plans to use and has already started to use when it comes to bringing racing closer. Prior to 2021, teams were allowed to spend as much money as they would like in order to reach their goals. This would mean that other teams, such as the midfield and the backmarker ones, were struggling a lot to keep up in the competition with the top teams, since they didn't have nearly the same budget as them. The budget cap will see additional shedding in 2023, as it already saw $5 million being shed for the 2022 season. Therefore, the FIA has put a large emphasis on it as the primary course when it comes to keeping racing as much fair and square as possible. So what is the issue here when it comes to Red Bull and Mercedes? Well, according to the Brackley-based team, the Austrian team has caused a breach in the budget cap and is due to receive a penalty from the FIA. This is a serious allegation, and the fact that nobody has the financial documents apart from the FIA at this point is something that truly makes you think about how can Mercedes make these kinds of allegations. When talking about this matter, Wolff said, "That is heavyweight offense. That is massively heavyweight. We are using used parts. We're not running what we would want to run, and we're not developing what we could be developing. We have made more than 40 people redundant, so they are deadly missed in our organizations. It was a huge, mammoth project to make the cap. I don't know how many tens of millions we had to restructure processes in order to be below the cap, and if someone has not been doing that or pushing the boundaries, every million over the cap spent is a massive disadvantage for us. I find it funny that Christian says Red Bull are below the cap, because it's been weeks and months since they are being investigated, so maybe he doesn't speak to his CFO. As a matter of fact, all of us have been investigated diligently. As far as we understand, there is a team in minor breach, which is more procedural, and another team that is fundamentally massively over. This isn't the first time that Red Bull has been accused of cheating the budget cap limitations, as Ferrari has called the FIA to have a closer insight into how much money Red Bull spends in 2022. According to Binotto, there needs to be a better way of looking into the financial spendings and not wait a whole year and then decide whether the team did a breach or not. He still has no idea how Red Bull finds all of that money in order to bring upgrades to every race so far, and when it comes to the 2021 alleged breach, Ferrari supports Mercedes and expects the FIA to do the right thing. The sporting director of Ferrari, Laurent Mekies, spoke about this matter, adding, "It's a very serious matter, and we, therefore, expect a strict policy and full transparency from the FIA, the body that we trust 100%. If it is true, this will have far-reaching consequences. We take this matter very seriously, and we expect decisive action from the FIA. However, in recent months, the FIA has manifested itself strongly, so we rely completely on the FIA. We want a transparent competition with rules that are the same for everyone." However, he also said that the FIA needs to first determine the extent of the cost cap breach prior to bringing a proper judgment for it. That way, Red Bull will serve as an example to all other teams as to what happens when you breach the budget cap. However, for all of this prophecy to become true, the team itself needs to be proven guilty on the matter. And speaking of the team, do you want to know what Red Bull had to say regarding this matter? Stick around with us and don't forget to smash that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell. Christian Horner was the first one to speak when it comes to these allegations, and rest assured, he was not happy about it. The biggest concern that he had is how is it possible that anyone outside of the FIA has information as to whether the team has committed a breach or not. He does plan to take legal action against the sides that started these allegations if they are not withdrawn, as he further elaborated. Unless there is a clear withdrawal of those statements, we will be taking it incredibly seriously and looking at what the options available to us are. It is absolutely unacceptable to be making comments of the type that were made yesterday that are totally defamatory to the team, to the brands, and even to Formula One. It is a private submission between the team and the FIA, so how on earth can any team know the detail of our submission? How on earth can any team know that a team is in breach or not? We don't even know if we're in breach. We don't even know until next week, until the process has been completed. Perhaps when these accusations are made, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, and we take umbrage and extremely seriously the remarks that have been made, finished Horner. Max Verstappen was also asked about the allegations that Mercedes made towards the Austrian team, and he had a very harsh response to these rumors, as he said, "I know where the speculation comes from, so for me it's okay," said Verstappen, who also spoke about whether he felt confident that Red Bull had not breached any cost cap regulations, adding, "What I hear from the team, yes, I'm confident." Of course, then other teams started to talk about it when they have no information, and I find it a bit silly. Just keep your mouth shut. That is a brutal response to give to your rivals, but obviously when they're just handing out allegations left and right, it's the right thing to do. The FIA has also spoken about this matter, as a spokesperson said. The FIA is currently finalizing the assessment of the 2021 financial data submitted by all Formula One teams. Alleged breaches of the financial regulations, if any, will be dealt with according to the formal processes set out in the allegations. The FIA notes significant and unsubstantiated speculation and conjecture in relation to this matter and reiterates that the assessment is ongoing and due process will be followed without consideration to any external discussion. So what happens if Red Bull is found guilty of breaching the budget cap in 2021? The worst thing that can happen is that Verstappen lose the championship that he won in such a close battle with Hamilton. The team can also be penalized by having its points deducted from the championship, or its budget cap for the 2023 season could be additionally shed apart from the $5 million supposed shed for all the other teams. Red Bull can also face a penalty in the form of not participating in race weekends, such as free practice sessions, qualifying and sprint races, and only participating in the race day and starting on the back of the grid. Also, the team could face a suspension on all of these penalties, meaning that they won't be applied directly, but if a team commits a similar breach a second time, then the application of the given penalty will take a force. According to Automotor und Sport, Red Bull has committed a breach that is reportedly over $10 million. According to Andreas Hort, who is an F1 journalist, this is a capital offense and not something to be overlooked. Figures are circulating in the paddock that Red Bull could have exceeded $10 million. That would be a capital offense. That amount could employ 100 engineers for $100,000. That would inevitably increase the output of the development department. 10 million. Many teams don't even have that much budget for mid-season upgrades. What do you think about the Red Bull saga? Do you think that they've committed what they are accused of? Let us know in the comments below.